Hi there. Today we are talking about quitting and how not quitting can actually keep you stuck. We'll cover how to know when it's okay to quit something. We're going to talk about how to deal with that fear that comes up when you think about quitting and you worry that it might be a mistake. We're also going to share a framework for making a decision about quitting something that can help you feel really good about your decision and move ahead so you're not stuck anymore. Welcome to I'm Not Doing That. We are having a weekly discussion about boundaries and burnout and finding alignment in your business and in your life. I'm Annie Kip. I am an executive coach for leaders who have reached a certain level of success and they know that they may be getting in their own way at this point and they need help articulating what their real value is, so they can keep having more professional success. It's like doing the personal work so that you can have more of the professional outward success. I'm here with my good friend and colleague, Dana. Dana, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. I'm Dana. I'm a certified professional coach who works with purpose-driven humans, navigating burnout, business alignment, big decisions, life transitions, where you simply just want more for yourself in your life and your work. That's what I'm doing today.
Awesome. This is, you'll see us referring to our notes. We have sort of a loose outline about what we want to talk about today to make sure that we're delivering value to you and we don't want to waste your time. So we're going to jump right into it. Dana, let's talk about quitting. It has such a negative connotation. I feel like everything that I looked up in kind of doing research for this was about don't quit, keep going. There's so much like rah around quitting, and I have a different experience of quitting, and I'm curious to hear if you do too.
Are you kidding me? I quit all the time. It's like, freedom is like my number one value. So if something isn't feeling aligned, I will quit. And, that for me can simply be saying no, or I'm sorry, I committed to this, but I can't do it. Or really just quitting things, walking away from relationships even sometimes.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's not hard for you to quit. And
it's good. I've practiced it, so it's not as hard anymore, but it's not an easy thing.
And we have some skills around this because of our training that we use in our own lives about how to say no in a way that is in integrity and feels aligned for us to be able to say no. But I know there are people who still feel sort of paralyzed with fear when they come to a situation that they think it would, there's a lot of self-judgment about, am I quitting on people? Are people going to be disappointed? Should I finish what I started? Is it just adversity that I'm afraid of? And of course, right, there's this whole world of quitting stuff too much. And if you're being avoidant and quitting things, that's a whole nother story. And we'll talk about that we talked about that on another episode. And also we'll talk more about it as we go here. But today we're really focused on how to get past the fear of quitting something and how to know it's the right decision for you. So your comfort with quitting is going to be helpful here. If you can sort of unpack for yourself what's going on inside of you when you make that decision.
I don't mean to make it sound like it's easy, because it really isn't. And the vast majority of my clients come to me with some sort of variation of needing to quit specific things or situations in their life. And they hire professionals for it. Like, this isn't easy.
Right.
But if you practice it and practice knowing really checking in and trusting your intuition, it gets a little bit easier and it gets less, what I would say is it gets less judgy. It used to be, I was like, oh, I'm quitting because I'm lazy. I'm, whatever it is, like these judgments that you like make up for yourself, basically.
Right. So some of this I want to talk about in terms of our brain. I love this part of it so much, but our brain wanting to keep the status quo.
Yeah.
And in this primitive part of us that knows that its only job is to keep us alive. I'm going to repeat this so many times because I think it's so fascinating. And its interest is simply in keeping us alive, which equals keeping the status quo, because you are currently alive. So let's not change anything. And so if you know you need to quit something, your brain will give you 1,000 excuses not to, because it doesn't want things to change. It's so that's real, and
it's
so
totally
then
real.
We have to we have to give ourselves some sort of protocol for thinking through things that is beyond just what's the gut kind of reaction, the head reaction, because your gut might be telling you need to quit something, and then the head overrides it. Your brain is overriding it and giving you excuses not to and telling you to stay the same. So we're going to talk about 3 things that you can do to make sure you're checking in with all of yourself to see, if this is really the right thing to quit for you.
Yeah.
And
right. That starts with values. Yes.
Yes. Let's just dive into that. So the first one in my mind, and I do this with clients, and I know you do too, is getting really clear on what your values are. First of all, just in general, it's helpful to know that. But when you are looking at something that you might quit, it really helps to compare it to your values. Like, do these things actually line up and match each other? Is there something about this that is out of alignment with your values? And maybe let's give a real example of that if we can think of one.
Well, I think in the open, I mentioned, I often quit in the name of my number one value, freedom, right?
Okay.
And that's kind of a tricky one, because freedom can also activate that part of my brain, which I have this dear friend who has passed, but she called it the lizard brain, right? The amygdala, the lizard brain that keeps you alive. It would wake that up, because freedom in our society actually isn't valued necessarily. We're kind of brought up, right, to think you go to work, you come home, you
follow the rules.
You follow the rules. And for me, the sense of freedom is more somatic and in my body. And so that's been very key to think about, what does this feel like in my body, with that backdrop of what are my values? Not just freedom.
Yeah.
But what does ease look like? What is, intellectual challenge look like?
Yeah.
What are these different pieces?
Yeah.
And, most of my clients come up with 10 values. So it's pretty easy actually to say, where am I in alignment and where am I not? Because you can find a place where you're out of alignment and then think through those pieces. Does that make sense?
It does. And I'm thinking of, the reason it becomes difficult is when some of those values bump into each other, right? Let's say you have a value of freedom and you're in a relationship that is not making you feel free, but you also hold a value of being loyal or, keeping promises or whatever that is. And if you're going to have to break a value in order to satisfy this other value, it's really important to know that that's your number one value, that it has to be there. And if that can help sort it out, is knowing what your highest value is, and also looking at when you are going to kind of damage a value of yours, there's going to be another protocol, which leads us to kind of the second thing is how is this impacting me to continue on in this way? And is it in alignment with who I want to be and how I want to do things and, the way I want to be in the world? So that can help clarify the values for you too. So if being loyal to somebody is making an impact on you that is not in alignment with the way you want to be and your integrity, if it's making you be an angry person, or if it's making you more critical or judgy and or withdrawn, that's where you can kind of soothe that part of yourself that feels like it might be a mistake, because on the surface it looks like you're breaking a value, but you're actually sort of reinforcing that value, I think. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Like, think about it this way, like you're in a relationship that you're thinking about ending, and you hit up against like the loyalty commitment value, but then you think about like, oh, but it's also this relationship is isolating me from friends and family.
Yes.
Right. So it's like this
Yes.
this path that can be windy, but like if you get to that place where you're like, okay, I have a value where I want to be loyal and I committed to this relationship.
Yeah.
And then you look at this next value, which is friends and family, and you're like, wait, but I'm completely isolated from them the majority of the time because of this relationship.
Yeah.
Then you have this decision matrix.
Yes.
To make
yes.
it, right? Like there is like this indicator of like, oh, wait, am I going to hold on to this one value and lose these other values? And like, I will ask clients, like, you 5 years from now, what are you going to be most grateful for? Or what do you imagine in your life in 5 years? And will this relationship honor that?
Yeah.
I have also plenty of clients, by the way, everybody, that can't go 5 years in advance. So I'll be like 1 week, 30 days,
Yeah. Yeah.
Future self exercises work for people who can actually think about what it looks like 5 years from now. And many people don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Their brain just doesn't work like that.
Customize it for yourself.
Yeah. That's smart. And you can do this. People can do this for themselves in their journal. If they're not working with a coach, they can do kind of an imagining exercise, or like, drawing a picture, a word picture, if you are not an artist, of the thing that you're aiming at. Yeah. And I think it's interesting that we keep coming back to freedom, because I think probably because you and I share that value. Yeah. But this can be really grounding. Getting free can be really grounding when you do it within this context of values. And it can feel like you're, that same satisfaction that we get from following the rules, like it's the right thing. It's the right thing when you've done this exercise and compared the decision against your values and how it's affecting you. And then the third thing is, how is it affecting other people? And in that bucket for me is, am I taking away someone else's agency by not quitting this? In a relationship, if I'm not 100% in and they think I am, or they are, am I taking away something from somebody that would allow them to find somebody who was 100% in, and so that's a value of, I do value other people and respect other people's agency. So even though I'm quitting and not finishing what I started, I'm still grounded in the value of respecting other people. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that this is also a good place for me to just, something that keeps going through my mind in this conversation is to say, like, dare to disappoint. So like a lot of times when you're checking in about what this is going to impact, how this will impact others, the first thing many people come up against is like, oh, I'm going to be disappointing these people. So like, if it's not a significant romantic relationship, then it could be a business relationship that you're in. Like this could be any kind of relationship. Yeah. And the idea of disappointing people is somehow incredibly intolerable for most of us. Mm-hmm. And I like to boil that down to, like I do for many things, is just a slogan of some sort, which is dare to disappoint. Yeah. Like, it is very hard to actually experience disappointment, and then we project that, the people who are afraid of disappointing people, onto others. And I did a full year of a challenge of like, I was just dared to disappoint. Disappoint. And I built the muscle. And I will tell you that probably 98% of the time, people just want an honest answer. They just want to know what's going on. And showing up when you don't want to be showing up is really a disservice to everyone.
Yes.
So remembering that
Yes.
that actually has an impact on you.
Yes.
And that's that first question we're asking. And then the next question, it has an impact on the other person too.
Yes.
For people.
Yes. And I have a client who has this in a big way, does not want to disappoint people. It comes from all kinds of things in her life. And the thing I keep coming back to is, what is it doing to you then if you're not disappointing people? Like, are you really, you're going to shoulder all of that so nobody else has to be disappointed? What does that do to you as a person? And then again, how is that unfair to them? You know, like, you're assuming you know what they would prefer there, and that they won't recover from being disappointed by your decision to do something.
Yeah, you're assuming you know them better than they know themselves.
Yeah.
You're not allowing them to have their own experience.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot that you're really like taking. There's a lot you're taking on.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that you are taking away from the other person.
Yeah. And it leads her to do a lot of excuse making with people, and sort of sometimes a little fudging, you know, I'm not feeling well kind of things. And I think that takes a toll on us to be not upfront about what's going on for us. And if we're so afraid to disappoint that we're going to make up an excuse that's kind of questionable, that's a sign that you're out of alignment with your values here. You know, I did an experiment myself the other day. Some people get like a gut feeling of like no or yes, and I definitely get that. And I had been invited to something that I just did not want to go to. I just was like, every bit of me was like, I don't want to. And instead of making up an excuse, I just said, I decided I don't want to go. And it was sort of shocking to the other person. They just sort of laughed. They're like, really? And I'm like, yes, I just don't want to go. And like, it took a lot of courage to stand in that truth. But that's all. That's the whole story. I just don't want to.
Yeah.
And it was freeing, because I could say, I really like being with you. I really like the people, but right now, this weekend, this is not what I want to do. Yeah. And it felt so good to just say what was true and not fudge it.
Fake it and then show up there, be miserable
or that. Yes.
Yeah.
That. And that's the other threshold that I'm aware of, is there are times where quitting something feels like my only choice that will let me feel okay. That when I imagine keeping going at something, it feels like a slow death. And that's so dramatic, I know. But it just feels like something that is going to get me feeling smaller and smaller and smaller. And so that's another suggestion, is play out where this goes if you don't quit. If you don't quit and you just keep doing this status quo thing that your brain thinks is the right thing to do, can you imagine how that's going to feel if you keep doing this?
Diminish you, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And
I have an example of that. It's from, like, there's a movie called Sid and Nancy. It's about the lead singer of the Sex Pistols. I was just and his girlfriend and their addiction. And there's like a scene, the last scene in the movie. So anybody step away, spoiler, where they're very high, and they, like, one of them is stabbed. I can't remember which one. And they're laying in bed while, I think it's she bleeds to death. Like, it's basically like, it's disgusting, but like, I have a term where I'm like, I'm not going to bleed to death in bed. Like, I'm not going to diminish this.
Yes.
It's extreme, I will admit, but
no, I love it.
It was what I used to say when I was dating. It was like, this person, I could easily bleed to death in bed with this person. Like, I'm not going to speak up. I'm not going to ask for what I want. You know, whatever it is, like, don't diminish yourself. Don't turn your light down. Don't turn the volume down on your inner voice.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I I have never heard you use these phrases, so we need to lock these in and get them. So one was dare to disappoint. I love
Dare
that.
to disappoint. Yep.
And then this one is don't bleed to death. Don't bleed to death in bed.
No Sid and Nancy here.
Yeah. No Sid and Nancy for you.
No tragic love story here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So anything else we want to include here? I think we've got it. The 3 things that you need to check in with are your personal values. Do some work around figuring out what those are. And then check this decision about quitting or staying, whatever it is, against those values. This can also, I just want to say, we've said relationships, but this can be as simple as whether to finish reading a book that you're bored with.
Yes.
Your values might be using your time wisely or feeling free to make choices. And if a book is being the boss of you, like that's not aligned with your values. Yeah. So just these little things that are taking a toll on us, let's make it simple. Let's make it simple by comparing it to our values, looking at the impact it's having on you for continuing and not quitting something. And then the impact it's having on other people.
Yes.
What you are taking away from them by making a choice to continue doing something rather than quitting something.
Yeah, I think you had a really good point in that. Like, think about the agency, like your agency and their agency.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Really respect that person by not taking away their choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just saying what's true, like, I just don't want to. That's okay.
I'm not
That's enough of a sentence. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I just don't want to. No is enough of a sentence.
No is enough. No, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I'm Annie Kip, AnnieKip.com. Dana is Dana where?
Dana Clark, loveyourlife.co.
Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe
I am interested, like if there are, I would love like to hear stories of places where you have dared to disappoint or said no, or even like where it is that you're not daring or saying.
Yeah. Or where you've almost bled to death in bed. Like I'm happy to hear that too. And hopefully you didn't. Like you got yourself out of that situation.
Don't do it.
Don't bleed to death in bed.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Dana. This was good. We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.